Louisville was a win away from winning the ACC and a potential college football playoff berth. Unfortunately, the offense didn't show up when it mattered most, but the Cardinals' defense was loaded with talent. The defensive line, the secondary, they had a number of players who made a strong impact, and one guy who was pretty solid down the stretch for Louisville was cornerback Jarvis Brownlee, a pretty solid corner who has some interesting tools, and after a solid showing at the Senior Bowl, has rapidly been moving up draft boards. How high does he go in the 2024 NFL Draft? That is what we will be talking about in today's video. But hey guys, if you guys are new to the channel, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment and let me know which players you guys want to see me talk about in the next video, and without further ado, let's take a closer look at Jarvis Brownlee. Brownlee is a player who started his collegiate career at Florida State. He was solid there, but in a loaded secondary, he didn't get enough playing time, so he decided to transfer to Louisville. In 2022, Brownlee didn't have a great season. He allowed 587 yards and 5 touchdowns on the year, and only had 2 interceptions. His 2023 season was much more sound, as he only allowed 271 yards and 4 touchdowns. He has some solid potential, and showed some nice traits at the Senior Bowl, but he still feels like a bit of a project player. We have to address the elephant in the room first and foremost. Brownlee is an extremely physical cornerback prospect, which to an extent I like. I love physical corners who get their hands on wide receivers and play with that competitive spirit. But Brownlee just pushed the needle a little too much. He got way too handsy with receivers at times. He would get grabby, pull on jerseys, and I didn't love that at all. That's going to be a walking penalty in the NFL if he does that, and that's something that I don't love. He's also very aggressive when coming downhill to tackle, and he's a hard hitter, and I do like that part of his physicality, but I think in coverage, he needs to tone down his physicality at the next level if he's going to succeed, because that is a very major red flag. Brownlee has some pretty quick feet. We didn't get to see him test at the combine at his 40, but he shows some really nice fluid hips. He has good footwork, and he moves extremely well in space. He can stop and pivot very smoothly, and I do like that about Brownlee. We mentioned it earlier, but Brownlee is a willing defender of the run. He comes downhill, makes smart and quick decisions, and he closes quickly on the ball carrier, and that's something that I value in my corners. Brownlee is also really solid in man coverage. All around in man, but I think he thrives in press due to his physicality, but he has the quick feet, and on top of that, he's a very good corner at dissecting the route and reading where the receiver is going to be. He got to the spot before the receivers did in some instances, so I'm pretty impressed with his route recognition skills. I think that's going to translate well to the NFL level. We mentioned his physicality, but another area that is concerning to people is his recovery speed. If he didn't match up perfectly from the jump, he didn't really have the quickness or recovery speed to give himself an angle to get back into play, which is why I think he is so reliant on his physicality at times, because if a guy gets past him, he really struggles to get back in the play. Another area of Brownlee's that I don't love is his size. He is 5'10", 194 pounds, and there were times where he was just bodied by bigger and better receivers. He has some nice tools he can offer, but his frame on the outside is not something that moves me. Jarvis Brownlee has some nice upside in man coverage, but I also have some concerns about his frame and how his physicality is going to look at the next level. It's a loaded corner class, and I am lower on Brownlee than the consensus. He is my number 21 cornerback in the draft class. He's a good player, but I think he's a lot less pro-ready than some of the other guys in this class, who I'm a bigger fan of. Brownlee is perfectly suited to be a press man corner at the next level. The physicality, the quickness, the route mirroring, his instincts and press, they're all very good, and I think that's where he's going to thrive in the NFL. My comparison for Jarvis Brownlee is Arizona Cardinals cornerback Garrett Williams. Williams was a guy I liked a bit last year, who I thought could have gone round 1 if it weren't for injury. He's super quick on his feet, has great route recognition, and is extremely physical in press coverage. Also, neither Brownlee or Williams are the biggest cornerbacks in the world, and there were questions about the frame. So that's my comp for Brownlee. Jarvis Brownlee is physical. He's super competitive, and he has some traits that are pretty impressive. I think he needs a little bit more refinement, but ultimately, I believe that Jarvis Brownlee will be a third-round pick in the 2024 NFL Draft.